Bonjour, c'est Claire of French in the Midlands. Today's video is a bit unusual because it's not a French lesson, but I'm going to be explaining what you need to do to be travelling to France from the UK in September 2021. What documents you need, everything you need to do. Now, before we go any further, I just want to remind you that you can claim your free ebook, The 12 Golden Rules of French, at the link in the description. It's a short ebook that's packed with tips and tricks on how to sound like a native French speaker. First of all, if you're fully vaccinated, that's the easiest way to travel. You will need to show two things: your certificate of vaccination and your sworn declaration that you've not been in contact with someone who had COVID in the last so many days. Now, don't worry, because I'm going to give you a download link where you can get that sworn declaration in the description below. And just a side note that when you travel, it's an awful lot easier to have all the documents you need printed off rather than be fumbling on your phone at the last minute. Now, if you're not fully vaccinated, don't despair. It's only a little bit more complicated, but it's not the end of the world. What you need to show is a negative PCR or antigen test taken less than 24 hours before you travel. And it does not apply to the other 12 yet, but that will probably shortly. Now, I know you can see, this is where people get really confused, because you can see on the French government website, sometimes it says 48 or 72 hours before departure, but that applies to other countries, not arrivals from the UK. And this is what the big difference is. If you're unvaccinated and arrive from the UK, your test must be dated less than 24 hours before your trip. Then you will also need your sworn declaration. You will need your certificate of travel showing a compelling reason for traveling to France. And if you're French living in the UK, it's a compelling reason. For other travelers, you need to study that form because it's not that obvious. Again, I'll give you a link to download this document in the description. And then, of course, you need to self-isolate for 7 days on arrival and take a PCR test on day 7 of isolation. As far as I can tell, an antigen test is not valid then. It's only the PCR that you need. This will also give you a health pass to be able to go out, see a museum, go to a cafe or anything, but it'll only be valid for 68 hours, so be aware of that. Just want to specify what constitutes fully vaccinated. France regards people as fully vaccinated 28 days after the Janssen vaccine or 7 days after the second dose of the other vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca. If you don't comply with the above exactly, you are considered as unvaccinated, and then you have to fill in all the extra forms and take the tests and basically spend a bit more money on your trip. Now, the other question is where to book your tests if you need to take them. In the UK, all major airports and test centres throughout the country will do it. You just have to Google it. The alternative, if you can't go anywhere and if you only need an antigen test to travel, you can actually self-test using a C19 kit, and I'll give you a link in the description. I'm not affiliated to them at all, it's just I've used them in the past and found them really straightforward. And usually you'll get your result emails within a couple of hours. In France, it's a bit more complicated, but what you can do is make an appointment online at Doctolib with a lab near you, or you can just turn up and queue at the local pharmacy. Now, be careful with that because not all of them offer COVID tests, so you'll have to Google it beforehand. It's really straightforward. And again, you should get the results. They usually say within 12 hours, but it's way quicker than that. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. À bientôt.